But there's a reason that it's like instead of 4 hours, it's a bunch of 30 minutes.
It's bite size. Yeah, you
Yeah.
bite off what you can chew, and if you can eat, have another serving, and then you can take another serving.
Totally, man. Totally.
Don't put all the food on your plate at once. Like I tell the kids, you can always come back for seconds if you feel like it.
I mean, after 4 hours, I'm bloated.
In a world where you only have trailers and posters to judge a movie, Jim and Ted strike out to answer the age-old question, will you see it?
Hello, Ted. It is 154. That is our episode this week, 154. How you doing?
Good, Jimmy. And I just want to say, we'll get to this more later in the what we're watching, but I am happy to be here right now talking to you.
Good. I'm happy to be here talking to you, Ted. Do you need a hug?
We've had a lot of hugs at the Willett household this evening, so yes, we're
nice. I got the sensation when I logged on to Zoom and heard the background.
Cool. So wait, do we do beers? Or we talk about the weeks? Let's do the beers.
Yeah, let's jump into the beers that we could talk about. I only have like one major thing this week, and it's kind of major actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but all right, go ahead with your beer really quick.
I'll start with the beers. After we went to Vigil Mass at Saturday evening instead of our normal Friday, and I said after Vigil Mass when you were like, let's do regular time, I said, oh, cool. Then we're gonna swing by Valley Beverage, my new favorite.
You didn't get that $60 beer, did you?
I did not get the $60.
Oh.
I saw the $60 bill, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna take a picture of it because that beer is gonna stay right there. But I will tell you that for 1/10 of the price, I got this beer that I'm having tonight.
Okay.
Actually, a little more than a tenth.
$6.
$6.99.
Okay.
I got a 12-ounce 5-Thread Brewing Company out of Westlake Village, California.
That's close by.
Yeah, it's called Sequoia Stout, Quadruple American Stout. And I saw the quadruple, and I was like, yeah.
Don't tell me it's like a 16%er.
No, not 16, 17%.
Oh my God. You son of a bitch. You beat me tonight.
Did I beat you? You can't beat, you have to beat somebody with this quadruple. Where did you see it?
Dude, a 17%er.
17%er.
That's outrageous. Oh my God, you're going to be crawling out of this episode.
I said, it's like a case of beer and one beer for $6.99.
Dude, how do you beat that? Totally. Well, that's why I said you beat me, because I have an 11%er. Nice,
yeah.
So I was thinking going 11%, I was going to be competitive, but holy cow, man. It's kind of like when, a good football team shows up against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good they are. But I have motor oil.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love that. Love that label.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever had motor oil. This is a pineapple, milk, sugar, and vanilla imperial stout.
So it's got the lactose in it?
And Alvarado Street Brewery. Alvarado Street.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so one of our favorite glasses. I just like this glass because it's big. It holds a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah, no. When you sent me that photo of that $60 beer, I said, I don't know if you saw my text back. I said, get it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll split the beer and split the cost, and it'll be a great time when we're back together in person.
Yeah, we'll definitely be in person soon.
It'll be a celebratory beer.
Yes,
yes. Like I hate this. Honestly. Half a beer for $30 is like incredibly ridiculous. But after I don't know how long, year-ish. Yeah, it'll be a year and a half.
Over a year and a piece. Yeah.
It's like, what's $30 among friends for a year and a half? That's kind of the way I was thinking about it. But,
right.
So how does it taste?
Oh, it's amazingly smooth for 17%. It doesn't taste like a hard liquor, which is like a little bit more probably at like 20 to 40%. But yeah, no, it's amazing. Like Sequoia, it's a stout. It has a little woodiness to it, which is great. And it's a nice solid stout. How about you?
Yeah, it's chocolate with a pineapple twist.
But the pineapple with lactose, right? I mean, that's got to be a little weird. Is it light on lactose?
Yeah, that might add to the sweetness, but the chocolate with the pineapple twist. So it's like when you drink it, it's like super soury pineapple.
Mm-hmm.
And then bam, right after that, the chocolate just lays on you.
Oh,
so,
nice.
I mean, it's good, but it's like, it's unassuming for what you expect.
Nice.
It is good. It's going to take a minute to get past the pineapple.
Yeah.
And then get that flavor to settle in because it's almost like fake pineapple. Yeah.
Awesome.
So with your beer, a quadruple stout, is there anything like, is it like coffee, chocolate, is it strictly?
Yeah. No, it has all those notes. It has like, it has like a woody start, and then it has the chocolate coffee like finish.
Man, 17%. That's
17%.
that's off the hook. Man.
And I mean, like $6.99, you could buy a case of this. You know what I mean? Like,
if you bought a case of that, that's more than a beer a day. I mean, like, what I mean by that is like you can't have one of those a day.
I know. I never buy a case of anything.
No, but what I'm saying though is if you had one a day,
Uh-huh.
like, oh my God, that's like liver disease or something. Wow.
Well, I mean, not liver disease, but I had a nice extra. Frank and I shared a nightcap on St. Patrick's Day this week.
Okay.
So I went over there.
Wait, you're Irish?
No, but
I know.
But it was St. Patrick's Day, and I found this bargain over at Ralph's. The Ralph's over here, they built a new alcohol section.
Okay.
So I said, Audrey, you go get the frozen peas for the shepherd's pie you're making later today, and I'll get, I'll see what this has over here, And they had Jameson that was aged in IPA barrels. So it was like reverse.
Oh, yeah, reversed. Exactly.
And it was, and typically it's like $39.99 a bottle. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's highway robbery, right? And, it's not, it's typical, but they had it on sale, I guess, because of St. Patrick's Day. And then it was like on sale for like $20 a bottle. And then if you bought 3 bottles, it was down to $15 a bottle. So I was like, oh my God. So we're approaching the price of 1 bottle of regular price.
One for you, one for me, one for Frank.
Yeah. I'll get one when you come down. But right now I got one that was like a coffee one, like a cold brew Jameson. And then I got 2 of these IPA ones, one for Frank and one for me. So we had that, and it was amazingly smooth.
Is it noticeable?
It's noticeable. The IPA barrels actually smooth it out. And it's like,
wow,
it's one of those dangerous things where you're like, am I drinking a hard liquor, or am I drinking like a beer that's been aged and it's like a 20% beer or something like that?
Am I drinking a beer that doesn't have any bubbling?
Just a flat beer. But
right.
But it was the smoothest Jameson I've ever had.
Really?
And I was like, this is dangerously smooth, Frank. I'm only having one of these with Guinness and then one of these, and then I'm going home because I could easily, have a couple, 2, 3.
Because I don't need to crawl across the street. Right.
Or have Anne come and get me at like midnight or something.
Yeah. I don't know what she would do. What, throw you on her back? I mean,
well, Frank has the wheelbarrow still. So,
that's true.
The receipt,
just dump you in and push you along.
The Enfield taxi, right?
That's it, man.
But yeah, speaking of drinking nights, your week.
Yeah, I turned the big 5-0 this week.
I know. Congratulations.
I know, man. I'm 50. We went for some good beer and had burger and fries and all the stuff I wanted to do for my birthday. And yeah, I mean, it was it's not every day you turn 50, so.
Nope. Only one day.
I know.
Congratulations.
I know. I'm the part of the half century club, and I don't feel a day over 49.
That's right.
The funny thing is, it's like I remember when my dad turned 50, and I remember when like others of, my parents' generation turned 50, neighbors and things.
Mm-hmm.
They all seem so much older than me.
I know.
I still feel like a kid, Yeah. So that's the big thing going on this week. I mean, I don't know. It's just it's weird, like the calendar ticks over and just you keep on keeping on,
right,
and nothing changes.
It's the the incremental changes or the gradual changes from inside, and the daily changes. It's like for me, after because I try to run every day. When I wake up after like a hard day or like for your grueling days of, bike training and whatnot, like when I first get up, that's when I'm like, oh man, I am old.
Right.
You feel it and you're just like, all right, just straighten up and then you'll be good. But just you can't walk around like this all the time.
For sure, man. There's days where, you're right about that. You wake up and you're like, oh my God, am I sore? I think a lot of it, though, is when I look at my parents' generation, the boomers and all that stuff. And when they turned 50, it's like fitness wasn't a thing.
Right.
Or at least, for most of them. They didn't lift weights. They didn't go bicycling or running or anything. If they golfed, it was like they were taking a cart everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, life was about like smoking, drinking, and sitting, and eating like really rich food.
Yeah. I mean, I applaud Frank. Frank went out for like a 35-mile ride this morning.
Yeah, but he's a rarity, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the rare ones. But, I mean, I remember my dad. It's just he just didn't do anything. It was like sit around the house all day and drink and eat, and it's like.
Right.
And he just, and he smoked. It's just like he just seems so old.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, we have, speaking of old, we have what looks to be like Baltimore and horses. Is it Baltimore, do you think?
Is it Baltimore?
Concrete Cowboy on Netflix.
So Concrete Cowboy on Netflix. Philadelphia, definitely East Coast, it's in the area.
Maybe Philly. I had the Baltimore. You know why maybe? Because Idris Elba was in The Wire.
Ah, that's why.
And The Wire was Baltimore, and they showed a row house, and then you're like, it must be The Wire.
Old East Coast is a little, it can be transposed on many different cities. But yeah, this is Philadelphia, and
it is Phil. That then.
Well, I have the stuff up here, so it says.
Oh, okay. I didn't look it up.
North Philly.
Gotcha. Okay.
But what do you think? I mean, I love the horse in your face at the top of the trailer,
Oh, it's awesome. I mean,
it's a little striking, you kind of hit your audience in the face, no trailer to trailer. We're just going to smack you with a horse mouth to the face.
And what I love about it, though, is you see this urban environment.
Right.
And you're thinking to yourself, why is there horses and cowboys? It doesn't even make sense. Like, it's so like the dissonance between the urban and the rural in this urban place is so off. It doesn't make sense to me.
And it initially, it really feels like you want to go, like, I haven't shown this to Anne, but I'm 100% sure that when I show this to Anne, she's a huge Idris Elba fan, so I think we'll probably end up watching this together. Thank goodness, so we can watch together.
Yeah, Clarissa's into it.
Yeah, and I think she's gonna be quick to the phone to figure out like what's the real story here. Did this really happen? Like, what is this
I'm
based
sure it
on?
Happened to a degree.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like it's got to be this great story of like you said, this juxtaposition of urban cowboy, concrete cowboy.
I don't know how much they spent in production for this, but what I can say is when you dump a bunch of like horse manure on a pair of Jordans, they probably like wiped out a $500 pair of sneakers. And there's like a whole demographic of kids out there like, no. It's kind of like when you watch the Blues Brothers and they blow up all the cars.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they wrecked like, hundreds of old like Chevys or something, but there's people out there, they don't care about the cars. They're like, not
the
Jordans. Great. It's a great coming of age movie too.
Right.
So this kid, he's just coming of age through the lens of bucking Broncos in Philadelphia. I mean, it's just, again, the dissonance of this thing is just so bizarre to me.
Yeah, and it feels like it's gonna check so many boxes. It's it's got, like you said, the coming of age, the fish out of water or horse out of country.
There you go. That's right. Yeah,
it's got a lot of stuff going for it, and it's something that we probably need in this time. A time to talk about color in America, and being a person of color, and not falling into a stereotype. It breaks the stereotypes.
Do we know the year this takes place?
No, I don't. I haven't done any research on this. Like we like to do. Came in cold on this. But happy to watch it, and then as we watch it, I'm sure we'll be diving deep into the story of what it is.
I mean, I know that's how Anne rolls. So
we're very close to the phone and figuring it out.
She's reading her phone for the whole movie.
Yeah, for some of it, she's pretty good about capturing the moments and stuff, and not interrupting. The kids have not gotten that talent yet. They're just talking throughout the movie, and you're just like, ugh.
Right. Yeah, I mean, overall it looks awesome. I love the story. I love the cinematography in this thing. And obviously, Idris Elba's an awesome actor, and he'll probably be the guy to carry this one.
It feels like it.
Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, like the kid in this one and everything, I mean, I think any kid, like you're talking about, like it talks about like race in America and everything, but I think every kid's going to is going to be able to connect with this kid. I don't think it matters if you're a white kid or a black kid or whatever, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so awesome. Are you a crime mystery novel guy, or does this not hit your genre? The Irregulars.
The Irregulars? So on to the next movie with The Irregulars. 2 Netflix nods this week. And to me, this is like a big Netflix push. It was kind of a slow trailer week. No big blockbusters. I think what we talked about last week as far as the state of movie theaters and coming back, it definitely feels like we're coming back, but it's hard to say how we're going to come back or what we're going to use as the canaries in the coal mine of going back to the movie theaters, like which sacrificial movies are we going to put out there for this, So that being said, we got 2 Netflix trailers this week. And since the second Netflix trailer is this movie called The Irregulars, or is it a movie or it's schmovie? We don't even know. I think it feels like a movie. Yeah, right?
It does, but it
could be anything. We don't know.
To me, it feels like a series.
It felt like, part of it feels like a series. That's why I'm trying to double check. But I think it's a movie, and maybe they're trying to push to franchise status or something like that. We'll see if it does well. But the franchise that this does kind of extend or establish is the Sherlock Holmes franchise. So they've had a period piece, and I think, did you see Enola Holmes on Netflix?
Enola Holmes?
Yeah, they used the girl from Stranger Things.
Okay.
and they put her as the sister of Sherlock Holmes. And they gave her this movie, and it's a great movie, and the kids love it.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen that.
Might be a little old for your boys, but you and Clarissa should check it out. It's worth a viewing, because both of my children have gone back to the movie and watched it on their own after watching it as a family. So,
oh wow,
it's kind of this interesting, fresh take on the Sherlock Holmes period piece and mystery. And then, so when I saw this trailer, I was like, oh, I think my children and my family have not, maybe we're not in the minority, You serve up Enola Holmes and we eat it up. We've all seen it. This household seen it like 5 times, between seeing it together and then seeing it separately. So I would say, like, if that's a pretty good average for a household, then why not throw more Sherlock Holmes in the mix? And if there's Sherlock Holmes fan fiction out there to scrape from, then get stuff produced that's around that, like there's no harm or foul to produce more Sherlock Holmes-esque new fiction,
Yeah. So the one that you guys saw, Enola Holmes, that's a Netflix show.
Netflix movie, yeah.
Netflix movie, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So then is it aligned with the Irregulars in some way, or is it separate?
Completely separate. I mean, it's around the time of Sherlock Holmes, so it's in that era of London. It has Sherlock Holmes and
like turn of the 20th century kind of vibe to it. Yeah.
But it has Sherlock Holmes, and it has Superman as Sherlock Holmes. Henry Cavill as Sherlock Holmes.
Henry Cavill.
So he shaved his mustache for this role. So Netflix had enough money for him to get him to shave his mustache.
Is that a big pull?
Yeah, because he went back to shoot some Justice League stuff, and they had to paint his mustache out because he had like a mustache for like A Man Called Uncle or something like that. He needed a mustache for another role, and he wouldn't shave it or something. You didn't hear about this there's a big hubbub about it. So
No, I did it, but it's kind of weird because like it literally takes like 3 weeks to grow a mustache.
Well, for you, if I shave this thing, it'll be like 2 years before anything comes back.
Oh yeah, Mel, I guess you have a point there. It depends on who you are.
But I would think Henry Cavill is probably closer to you than me. I mean, I think he looks like a hairy dude. Like he could probably.
What are you saying? I'm a hairy guy?
Tell me you're not. You got a 5 o'clock shadow and you like shaved a couple hours ago.
Yeah, I shaved. What's today? No, I shaved yesterday morning.
Okay. So there, 48-hour stubble.
Yeah. So no, and I got a pretty good shadow going though for not even 48 hours, but
right.
So Watson is the girl in this?
I guess so. You know what I mean?
That's kind of what I pulled out of it.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell, but I think it's the girl, and she can see things. Like it brought on like a Sixth Sense almost a thing, right? Where she could see the dead or something.
I like the fact that they're just kind of going Bridgerton on them, and this is like we'll do period piece, but we'll throw people of color in here and we'll just mix it up. Who cares what it looks like,
Doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter. Just show the audience. Yeah.
Exactly. You look at London, turn of the 20th century. Yeah, there's no brown people. There's no Asians. But whatever. It doesn't matter. We're going to put them all in.
Put them in there. Why not?
That's how it ought to be anyway.
It's worth it. In the Shakespearean time, they were all men playing all, men and women.
And everything else.
Yeah, so why not do the exact opposite where you just have everybody playing whatever they want to play?
Clarissa was in a play in school, and she was Rosa Parks, for crying out loud. A blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl playing Rosa Parks. Go figure. Unless they had no black girls in the school, I don't know, but maybe they were trying to be diverse.
They were doing the photo negative Rosa Parks story where everybody else is black and they were telling her.
Right. Exactly. Oh, that's terrible. But whatever. All right, man. Those are the shows that we will be watching. But what have you been watching?
Okay. So how do you want to do this? We teased it last week. I did my homework. I watched
Homework on what?
Operation Odessa.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, how about this then? You watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yes.
All right, let's end with that.
Okay.
So since you said Odessa and I talked about it last week, how about we start there?
That sounds
and
good.
then we could go tit for tat, and then we could talk about. So you said episode 82,
Episode 82.
and I go back way to episode 18.
So Anne was like, look it up, see what he watched.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have to guess what each other
I'll
watched.
I'll guess at yours and you guess at mine then. Okay, sure.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so Operation Odessa, what'd you think?
I loved it. I was at first it was a little crass and it was a little like
A little bit, yeah.
and it was like, am I gonna feel anything for these guys? And I tell you, Tarzan is something. and then the New York Fat Tony or whatever his name is, Fat Joe, comes down and he tries to like teach him how to be a mobster, and he's just like, I'm Russian, I do whatever I want to do. But to me, my favorite character is the Colombian or the Cuban guy, and he just drops F-bombs as he lives and breathes, and he's still on the run.
What I love about the writing and the show, the directing and everything is over and over the misdirection.
Yeah.
He'll never talk to you.
You'll never get him. Yeah. You'll never.
Or my favorite though is, dude, what do you do with the camera? Put the camera away. We're in a Soviet or a Russian era, whatever, secret submarine base. You got to put the camera away.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, they're taking photos with everybody.
Right.
The colonel and shit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it was so funny.
Not this one. You'll get something like this sub. Not this one exactly.
But I like the very beginning. I called my buddy. I said, "Can you buy a Russian sub?" And he said to me, "Sure. Would you like missiles with that?"
Missiles or no missiles is the question.
Yeah, missiles or no missiles. It was hilarious. I'm so happy you watched it because it was one of those kind of documentaries that are just so ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking to myself, how is this not a made for Hollywood movie?
I mean, it totally should be. So, yes.
Oh, they're about to take off with like a bunch of helicopters, and then like these Russian mobsters with AK-47s and Jeeps and like you know, their faces covered, stop an airplane halfway down the runway, and the guy comes in and he's like, and they're the Russian mob, and they're like, yeah, oh, you're what was the Colombian drug lord?
Oh, right. Not Tony Montana.
I know Tony. Tony Montano.
No. God, come on.
But he's like,
El Chapo. What's his name?
yeah, you brought me here for 50 kilos or whatever. Like, really?
Just act hard, right?
Oh God, it was amazing.
And so at the end, they all rolled on each other, but they didn't. Like Juan kind of rolled, like they kind of rolled on each other.
They all rolled on each other and they all kind of walked.
And they all recanted. So then it was all like, oh, we rolled and then we recant. And then we're fugitives. We just live in I thought they were going to reveal where Tarzan was. I was waiting for the big pullback. They should have done.
I thought he was talking for prison.
They should have done a pullback, and they pull back through the bars. You know, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Even if it's not true, I guess but his decrepit background, you know, some of the shots was great. But
the Cuban guy, though, man, he was.
His last line, I quoted it to you in our text together. I said,
what was his last line?
To all my enemies are dead, and I'm happy.
Oh yeah.
And I'll see them all in hell. I was like,
and I texted back,
Odessa.
Yeah, was that Odessa? But I love how the first question they ask him, and the guy's like, "Really? You want to go there? Come on." Yeah. Like, It was amazing. It was amazing. So there's still a week left, maybe not even by the time this comes out.
Right.
I recommend anybody go watch it.
Oh,
man.
it's a must watch. Not family friendly, but a must watch.
No. I mean, strip bar stuff, and they don't hold back.
Yes.
So, all right, man. So episode 82.
Okay. Here we go.
If I could guess, you watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yes. What was what is the name of the movie? Because it's not Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. So
I was thinking you didn't see Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
So I said to
or
Ann,
Zombieland Double Tap.
That's on the list.
Those were the three we covered.
So I said to Ann, Ann, the kids' spring break is this week. So this week we should go back to DVD.com.
Okay.
So I said, let's just turn on DVD.com for a month.
Oh, that's Netflix's.
The original Netflix is now rebranded as DVD.com. And, you have to pay separately for it. But I was into my account, into my Netflix account, and they're trying to sell it to you there. And I'm like, all right, kids spring break, let's do it. And they're so rolling in it that they're just like, oh, we'll give it to you for a month for free. Well, we won't charge you till a month later. I was like, spring break's here. Let's see how many movies we can slam into this thing, And the mail kind of prohibits you from watching too much. But I said the first thing's on the list.
Well, because you got to turn it around.
Right. You got to turn it around. They got to confirm it's in the mail. They got to get it back into their facility, and then they'll send you a next one. So we'll see how many we can get through in a month. But that's the challenge, is to watch at least one a night and figure it out. So the first two movies was A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood and 1917, the war movie.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to find, this is there's a thing that's missing in the world, is something that as a DVD service, you should be able to tell me the things that I can't stream. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree with you.
Show me the things that I can't stream, and I will make sure that I go and I rent those things, like Jumanji Next Level or something like that.
Can I say though, what we did Blu-ray for a long time with DVD.com, and with the way they would play it, we haven't done it for a long time. But what they would do is, it wasn't that they show me the things I can't stream. They would, like, if you were to put anything in your DVD queue, they would say, "Oh, this is streaming."
Oh, okay. If it's on Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah.
They're not going to tell you it's streaming on HBO or something like that.
No. It was like, if you were going to put in, I don't know, like Odessa.
Right.
And you were going to try and get they would say, oh, well, this is streaming.
You can watch it right now.
You can watch it right now. Exactly. Yeah. But if it was A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood and you were watching it and that was on HBO,
right?
Well, good luck with that.
Right. And I couldn't find this in a lot of places, but either way, I was like, we're all big Mr. Rogers fans. And just the way this movie played out, I loved it so much. Have you seen it?
I have not, no.
So I pulled it up. Anne's like, oh, there's some violence. And I heard there's some violence in this one.
Violence with Mr. Rogers?
Well, because there's another story. There's another layer of another story, because it's a narrative fiction. It's Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
But it's not all about him. It's about a Esquire writer, a magazine writer who comes to do an expose on Mr. Rogers, and actually ends up.
But can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
You don't have to get into anything detailed, but was there violent scenes?
There was one fight. A couple of punches at a wedding. That was it.
Oh, okay.
But it's so funny, because I looked it up on Common Sense Media, and I turned to Ann. I said, we could totally watch this. Don't worry about this. This is for the kids. It's fine, And I show her the Common Sense Media. I looked it up, and I said, look, see, it says it's fine right here. And she's like, That's not the movie we had. That's the other movie. That's the documentary about Mr. Rogers. It's like they're both named so close to each other that I found the wrong Mr. Rogers movie in the queue.
Well, the documentary was A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
No, Won't You Be My Neighbor is the documentary.
Oh, and this one is
Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Yeah. Oh, okay.
So it's like, let's take the two most iconic lines from the thing we all grew up to as kids and make them one narrative fiction about a real life thing that happened and the other a documentary about, Mr. Rogers and his life and his whole thing. And because we had seen the documentary, which I think you've seen the documentary, it was very close to that in the portrayal.
Okay.
But Tom Hanks just embodied him. They got like the real dolls, the real puppets that he used. It felt so real. And then this story, it is a beautiful story in the way that it takes apart the core of what Mr. Rogers was. Mr. Rogers was forgiveness and dealing with human emotions because we are human, and always ending with hope and always ending to stomp out cynicism. And as a journalist, this guy was like, he's the guy who like basically outed Kevin Spacey for being like a predator.
Oh, he was that guy?
You know what I mean? He's that guy. And they said,
wow.
His editor sends him in to Mr. Rogers to do a fluff piece. And like, some of it's obviously they take some license with how he goes in there and he tries to like say like, you're not really Mr. Rogers. And Mr. Rogers is like, oh, you must have a lot of pain to say that. Like what's your and he really turns the tables on this guy. And, he writes an expose on himself, basically. He talks about the pain that he's had in his own life. And there's not a dry eye in the Willett house. And,
God.
Bryce is covering his face because he's uncomfortable. And Audrey and I are crying. And Anne's like trying to do.
Oh, we got to. And this was on Blu-ray.
This is on Blu-ray. We got it through the mail.
You got it from DVD.com.
DVD.com. First
Gotcha,
one, knocked it out the park, And then we'll see what 1917 is next week. For your episode 18, I would say you watched Avengers Infinity War.
Oh, no way, man.
No?
Sorry to bother you.
Oh, good. Sorry to bother you.
Have you seen it?
I did see that. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, so speaking of horse faces in your in the screen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so no, sorry to bother you. It starts off, that's the one where Danny Glover teaches him how to talk white. Yeah.
No, my favorite thing about that movie was the fact that he lives in the garage with the garage door.
Yeah, the garage, right. So he, it's like, okay, he's talking white. He's at a call center and everything. And it makes this twist that you never see coming because you don't expect horse people. Right?
Right.
What did he call it? Like equine.
I forget that.
Equine sapien or something.
Oh.
Or it was something so ridiculous, and you're just like, where the hell did this movie just go to? And
does Armie Hammer hit you different now that we kind of know that there might be something weird about Armie Hammer's like personal life?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't. I watched it, and I just thought.
Did you hear about the whole Armie Hammer stuff?
Yeah.
I don't even know how true it is or what he's up to, but
I mean, I just watched it for what it was.
Yeah, okay.
It's just a movie. I mean, it's like watching, if you were to watch a Kevin, it's like if you're going to watch
Usual Suspects or
Usual
Swimming with the Sharks or
what's the what is it?
Oh yeah, American Beauty.
American Beauty, yeah. You're going to watch that. Are you going to, I mean, I get it, like Kevin Spacey's kind of creepy in that regard.
Right.
Especially in American Beauty with the daughter and
yes,
everything,
yes.
right? Like even worse.
Yes.
But, you just watch it for the movie that it is sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta shed the person, the actor behind the character. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you look at it that way, I mean, I always said the thing like when how should I put it? When actors or actresses take up political podiums.
Oh, right.
right? Whether or not you believe in the stance they're taking, is that going to color my viewing of their movies and so on? You know, like,
Right.
I mean, you're going to take a stance on, I mean, anything in the world. It doesn't even matter.
When Peyton Manning and Tom Brady throw touchdowns, do you care that they probably pal around with Trump? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, do they?
Well,
Brady
golfs with them for sure.
Get out.
Yeah.
You know, I was never a Brady fan anyway.
There you go. That's why I threw Peyton Manning. I don't know if Peyton Manning has any interaction.
I have no idea
with him, but I just threw him in there.
I'm not a Brady fan anyway, man. God, he beats everybody. But yeah, I mean, anyway, so
you liked it.
It was good. It was weird.
And it was weird. It's weird. It's fun. Fun weird.
Yeah, it was weird. It was surreal comedy. It was everything that you go into movies, you don't know what to expect, and he keeps wearing the wrap around his head from getting hit with the soda,
Yeah.
and he's bleeding everywhere. And how long ago did you see it?
I saw it forever ago. Yeah. Like, come on. We covered the trailer in episode 18, like 2 years ago.
That's what exactly. All right, what else did you watch?
I watched tons of documentaries. So,
I got you on the documentary roll. Well, we did too.
Yeah, I watched the last Blockbuster. Did you see that one?
That's on my list.
Oh, good. I'm glad you watched it. I was doing what we did last week, where we don't tell each other what we're watching too much.
Yeah, I'm so happy you watched that one.
And while I turned it on late one night just to have it play, and it's so weird and it's strange, and it has these great characters in it and these actors that are like, Anne's like, do I know these actors and actresses?
Right, whatever the guy with the beard who's like really kind of like, he's kind of like a simpleton.
Yeah. And you know he's in Big Bang Theory, right? Like he's like a big character in Big Bang Theory. So I was like, I think he's in Big Bang Theory. I don't know. I've seen him around. He's like a big, character actor. And then Ione Skye's in there, and Anne's like, do I know Ione Skye? I was like, say anything. She's the one that John Cusack's holding the stereo up for, like.
Well, and what I love is episode 82 that you watched, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh, that's right. And Kevin, Kevin Smith is in this.
Kevin Smith is in there. And, man, that was, and the thing is, like, so of course something like that ends, and you carry the conversation afterward, right? And you start like reminiscing and talking about going to Blockbuster and so on. And like I was telling Clarissa, I said, you know what? I don't think the nostalgia is in Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
I think the nostalgia is in Friday night would be, you'd go to Blockbuster, whatever, and it would be like the symbolic start to the weekend. And like you worked all week to go to Blockbuster to get a movie, because you knew going there was like the start of your weekend, which was the start of relaxing, which was taking your mind off of like life, doing something fun, living vicariously through someone else, whatever it was. But like Blockbuster was just that symbol that started that whole chain of events.
And they talk. There's a great conversation throughout the piece about dates, how dates started in Blockbuster.
Exactly.
And you kind of got this whole different appreciation of how you kick off your date. And it was so funny because having Audrey, who's now 15, she remembers, she didn't watch the doc with us, but she remembers going to Blockbuster. So like when we saw Captain Marvel, she remembers going into Blockbuster and picking her movies and how great it was. And she loved the experience too,
that's so funny.
Like a 4, 5, 6-year-old. But Bryce doesn't have any recollection of it. And it's completely lost on him. And they're only like, what are they, 3 years apart or, 4 years apart. And it's just funny to have two kids that the older one knows about this and the younger one has no recollection of what that was. And I remember, I think my last, and you would interact with like the strangers that you would see in a Blockbuster weren't really strangers. You know, there were enough Blockbusters that you weren't going to go to a Blockbuster. You weren't going to go, you were from the neighborhood if you're in that Blockbuster, because you would just go to the Blockbuster in your neighborhood because it was so,
because there were so
one on
many
every
of
corner.
Them. Exactly.
So I remember having a long conversation with a couple of strangers as I was picking out my movies about the Fast and the Furious franchise, and how they were trying to figure out which ones they had seen and which ones they hadn't seen and what the numbers of them were, because none of them had any numbers in it.
So what's more weird, that there was a Blockbuster on every corner, and when they went out of business, it doesn't seem that long ago.
Uh-huh.
Or Fast and the Furious movies were like so long ago they were in Blockbusters.
And they were already a franchise. They were already
a
4
franchise.
or 5 of them. And
that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I mean, I just remember telling them, like, I think, the one that has the number 2 in it meant it was Too Fast, Too Furious. That's the second movie. And then Tokyo Drift, I guess that's a third. You know what I mean? So we kind of just we were trying to go through it.
Well, and I love how in the Blockbuster documentary, the last Blockbuster, the girl's talking about, it'd be they're picking out a movie, and there'd be like some guy looking at me picking out my movie. It was, and like nobody knows what I watch on Netflix, but people knew what movies I was picking out,
right?
And
it was so great because when we started this podcast, I had long talked about that Bend, Oregon Blockbuster, and I was like, we should.
You have,
and
yes.
I said we should do like a Blockbuster Con where we have like a convention and we bring everybody in there.
I told Clarissa about this.
So in that discovery phase where I had the Kickstarter and everything, we're doing Blockbuster Pod Con, whatever, where you bring all the podcasts to talk about movies up there. And so I had called Sandy and I talked to her on the phone, and
no way.
And I was, and she, I'd talked to her a couple of times on the phone, and we'd exchanged emails.
I didn't know you called her.
Yeah, of course. Cause I was at Disney, and I was like, on my lunch break, I would like just pick up the phone and be like, all right, we're calling the last Blockbuster. And you get some kid and they're like, well, the manager's name is Sandy. She's not here right now. And I said, all right, well, give her my phone number. I'm looking to set up an event like this. And I'm looking at your location, and looks like you kind of have a strip mall area. We could probably do something in that strip mall.
Yeah. Bend, Oregon. Right.
And I was like, so then she called me back and she goes, well, we're getting a lot of calls right now. We're doing a lot of press. So she was in the midst of doing the big run of this whole thing when she became the last Blockbuster.
Right.
And I was like, man, I talked to that lady. I did. And then right after the movie ended, I found an old email from her, and I said, just watch the documentary. This is, it's great. Love the documentary. Great doc.
That's amazing.
And I sent that off to her, and I was just like, oh. And it was really, in the end, like you said, like, what is this really about? It's about the family that they had. Like, she made this family in this small town. She made a community.
For sure. Yeah.
Into a family, So it was a beautiful thing.
And and I guess to wrap this one up, I think the big thing that if Dish Network didn't continue, I think what she should have done was just go off on her own and just keep it a video rental store, and whatever. I mean, I know people were making fun of like giving other names and things.
Blockbusters Video.
Yeah, they should have done something, maybe a play on it, maybe not, whatever it might be. But
did you have a thing? And through the whole second half of the documentary, Anne was like getting angry. She was like,
why?
Is she the manager? Is she the owner? She's doing all this stuff and she's just the manager. I was like, it's small town. When you're small town and you're the manager, then you run the whole place.
Whether she owns it or manages it, whatever it is, I think in the end, Dish Network owns it.
They own the licensing rights to the title of Blockbuster.
Exactly. And I think she owns the franchise.
Well, yeah, it was the Pacific Video guy who was also, featured in there a lot, but he was just kind of hands off, not, he was like the money.
Oh, you think he was the guy that owned the place?
Well, he definitely owned the Pacific Videos where they were there.
No, that I know.
But I think he was still probably the owner, but she was the one, but he was completely hands off, and he was just like, all right, I got the profits. You make everything work and you run everything.
Yeah.
And that's why she was able to run it like a family, which was just an amazing thing.
I gotcha. Yeah, and then another one I watched was Operation Varsity Blues, the college admissions scandal.
Oh, I almost watched that. I was like, ugh.
Matthew Modine.
I didn't want to go down there.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast. It was Gangster Capitalism, and where the guy talks to him. They do the whole thing, and they try and talk to the main dude and everything, and he completely stonewalls them. But I mean, it's everything you know. It's just scumbag rich people trying to. I'm not saying all rich people are scumbags, but these rich people were scumbags.
They're specifically scumbaggy.
Right. Doing everything they could to get their kids who weren't worthy of Ivy League into the Ivy League.
Well, I think not to defend them too much, but I think you get caught up in your own, vibe, in your own
100%
people, and you're just like the people around you. It's like, oh, everybody does this. Don't worry about it. Everybody does it.
No, 100%. Yeah. And that's what I was telling Clarissa. I'm like, you get to the point in your cohort, in your
fraternity. It's basically, like you said, the cohort's a good best term for it.
Yeah, the cohort of wealth that you're a part of. And it's just like, I couldn't get into Harvard, so I'm going to go to Harvard through my children.
Right.
And because now I'm an attorney,
I've risen to this level of fame and notoriety where I could do that.
I could get them in. Yeah, I could get them in, and now we're all going to Harvard. And like my kid's a vehicle for me. They're not even my kids. They're like the vehicle that gets me there and stuff, And I mean, it's pretty. Like, I like the end though. The end comment was, and I'm paraphrasing. In the United States, we love the rich and we loathe the rich.
Right.
We admire them and they disgust us. And it's true. I mean, like, we all want to be them and we all hate them at the same time. So it's like, well, what does that say if you become them? Do you hate yourself or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like this cognitive dissonance that we have.
And then it's like you're a fan and you love them, and then when they get knocked down like this, then there's this weird schadenfreude where you're just like, oh yeah, they're just like the rest of us. They have to succumb to scumbag.
All right, man. So the Falcon, or well, not the Falcon.
Wait.
But,
I have one.
Oh, go ahead.
More.
Go for it. Go for it. I'm sorry.
That's all right. And you brought up Harvard, so I just want to tout, as a Washington football team fan, I'm wearing my
the legend. What is your legend of Taylor? Oh my God, you moved.
Henke. So the legend of Taylor Henke. Taylor Henke, of course, in the playoffs this year, he scored more touchdowns than Pat Mahomes against the world champion Buccaneers in the first round of the playoffs, or the second round of the playoffs, or something like that.
Okay.
But this year, since you brought up Harvard with this scandal, somebody who got a Harvard degree without a scandal was Ryan Fitzpatrick, the new quarterback for this upcoming season of Washington football team.
Good for you.
The journeyman quarterback, been on every team except for the Washington football team. Now he's our quarterback, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes, man. I know you're you're a DC guy.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. But the other DC guy thing that I'm about is Nat Geo.
Okay.
And we're starting to do a little more exploratory stuff with some Nat Geo folks at work,
Okay.
And I, of course, we're in Disney Plus, and we're tooling around, wanting to watch something new and new for the family. And I'm like, all right, if it's new and it's new for the family, we can probably find it in here. So,
and Nat Geo's like family friendly.
Exactly. And I found a documentary in Nat Geo called Own the Room.
Own the Room.
Have you heard of it? Have you seen it?
No, I have not, but I'm intrigued.
So I think this is one that we're going to put on the back burner, and I might ask you to watch it this week, next week, whatever, if you have some time, you and Clarissa. It is a documentary about...
I got lots of time, Ted. I got lots of time.
It's a documentary about a world entrepreneurship competition, and basically these students in college...
Is it a series or is it...
It's a one-off.
Okay. So it's like 2 hours done.
2 hours, you're done. Yeah.
Okay.
And basically they just go around the world and they show you the finalists from this student entrepreneurship competition. And then in Macau, China, they have the finals.
Have you watched it?
I watched it.
Have you watched it?
Watched it.
You did watch it.
Loved it. The family was like lukewarm on it. We watched the first 15 minutes of it over breakfast one day.
Did they finish?
They finished, but
Okay.
I had to drag them back to it. I was like, you guys, this is going to be so good. It's going to be good. You're going to love it. They're like, no, let's watch something else. I'm like, no, guys, believe me. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but believe me, it's going to go places that we're going to love.
Yeah.
And by halfway through the movie, everyone's on the edge of their seats and they're just like, oh my God, are we going to go back to the story? Go back to the story. And
I can't wait now.
You'll know when you see it. And hopefully you're as excited as we were. But it was just like, stop telling us about this other story. Get us back to the main story. And then we'll talk about it next week or the week after.
Okay, sure. We'll definitely get after it.
All right. Well, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
So the best I could tell, there's 89 Easter eggs. The Easter eggs are ridiculous. But aside from the Easter eggs, what'd you think?
I loved it. They went blockbuster movie for the pilot episode.
That opening sequence was outrageous.
The aerial sequence was phenomenal. Was phenomenal.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Loved. And it was like, oh, they got in the heli, right? Like they're in the heli. It's over. No, they punched him out of the heli. It's not over,
right. I mean, Don Cheadle. I mean, the whole thing, man. It was like, it's Disney and the Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
Marvel Universe, Marvel Studios.
Uh-huh.
They are not holding back on the caliber of actor. They're not holding back on...
No. They're spending money.
They're spending the cash, man. Like,
you could tell they're spending money.
Oh, it is beyond TV.
And it's so funny to hear my kids try to program, and I think both of them, I forget who it was, or one or the other, but I think they both agreed, and they were like, oh, they should have ended, because now we're excited for Loki, because we know Loki's like right on the horizon, summertime,
right?
Right. It's going to be a D+. And we're big into this. And after we saw that pilot episode, we're like, oh man, this is blockbuster stuff. They should have ended.
Totally blockbuster stuff.
They should have ended this stretch with WandaVision. And I'm like, no, you guys are completely wrong. You know what I mean? Like you got to bring WandaVision out there, because WandaVision is the bridge that gives us like, oh, it's small screen. Oh, they're paying homage to the small screen. And then by the end, you have Vision versus White Vision in the sky, like, having like your typical huge thing,
And you're absolutely right, because when you go from the big screen and the big production, Avengers, what was the last one? I guess it was
Endgame. Right?
Endgame.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I guess there was Spider-Man after Endgame.
There's more coming out, but I mean, I guess these are coming out of Endgame.
Far From Home was after, but it was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it was actually a Sony movie, so blah, 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 blah.
Right, but coming out of Endgame, and like you said, I mean, you're going into WandaVision, and WandaVision was done. When you look at the way they wrote it and the way they made it, was utilizing the television.
Bridging, yeah.
And that was like saying we're taking what we do in the Marvel universe on the silver screen and we're bringing it to the small screen.
Right.
So if you think back to the 1960s when you have the silver screen and the big screen and everything.
Right.
And then you have Hitchcock and Rear Window, and you bring it into the television era. All those different things that Jimmy Stewart's watching in Rear Window, each one of those is a different series or a different show or a different channel.
Nice. Yes, exactly.
On a television set, right? So you have the murder mystery, you have the comedy, you have, whatever's going on.
Right, the drama,
and the dramas and so on. And each one of those windows, each one of those apartment buildings was a different channel, essentially. So Hitchcock, in a sense, was bridging from the big screen down to the television screen. And then, later he released his TV show and all that, and
right. Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And when you look at this, I mean, it's almost as if Marvel is bringing it into I know streaming is a little bit different,
right,
but it still is in the home. It still is on the television. It's what Hitchcock was doing, but it's just in a different medium. Not a different medium, but it's like a different time, I guess.
It's a different medium. The lights aren't all, you know what I mean? Watching at home is a different vibe than going to the movie theater. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. No, it totally is.
I mean, and when you watch Falcon and Winter Soldier and you see that epic aerial sequence, didn't part of you want to see that in a movie theater? Like we're missing something by seeing it we're seeing it on a 50-inch screen at home. Great.
I watched it on a 32-inch screen today.
Oh, but you could have watched it on your, what is yours? Your 60?
I could. 65
inch. You could have watched it on your 65-inch screen.
We could have.
We watched it on the 50-inch screen, and and we're like, oh, that's big, but it was epic. It could have been on the big screen.
It's meant for, right. I get you. It's meant for massive.
Are we ever going to be able to see this on the big screen? Like, this is something that they produced and made for D+. How are we going to see parts of these things or any of this on the big screen? Like, we should see this on the big screen. Like, I don't know how to do it.
And think about the people who are watching it, like, on a phone or an iPad.
Yeah.
I mean, what I would say is...
I watched half an hour of Zack Snyder's Justice League on my phone. And I was in bed watching it on my phone because I was just like, oh.
You're like, this is stupid.
And I was like, and first of all, it's 4:3 because Zack Snyder wanted it 4:3.
4:3? What?
Yeah. He kept it old school.
Okay.
But it had it had this similar epic vibe. But I'm watching on my phone. I was like, oh, I want to watch this on the big screen, but I can't with the kids and stuff, in the background. So Anna and I are going to try to watch this 4-hour epic sooner rather than later, but it's 4 hours. We can't just carve out our time to do that.
Why is it it's 4 hours? Because of just the number of episodes?
It's only one episode. It's a movie. Zack Snyder recut his movie that was theatrically released, to a 2.5-hour movie to a 4-hour movie.
A 4-hour movie. So he took all the, oh my God, all the extras. And what is this on?
It's on HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's incredible.
And it came out on Thursday, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out on Friday. So it was like back to back, and I was like, I can't watch this. I have to wait for Anne. We got to figure out a schedule on how we can watch it. And it has chapters, so I think you could watch the Zack Snyder Justice League as a miniseries if you wanted to break it up.
Well, I was gonna say, me and Clarissa, we watch things that are like that. If there's no chapters, we make chapters. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, I'm done, going to bed, pick it up tomorrow.
This is a great place to stop this. That's what the kids say.
Yeah, we watched the director's cut of The Lord of the Rings. Each one of those things is like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, there you go. See? Same thing.
That was 6 viewings. I mean, it's just ridiculous,
Just break it up. 45-minute chunks is good.
Oh, man. Oh, God. There's a reason why series exist, I mean, sure, I could watch Cobra Kai, in one length movie. But there's a reason that it's like, instead of 4 hours, it's a bunch of 30 minutes,
It's bite size. Yeah. You bite off what you can chew. And if you could have another serving, and then you can take another serving,
Totally, man. Totally.
Don't put all the food on your plate at once. Like I tell the kids, you can always come back for seconds if you feel like it.
I mean, after 4 hours, I'm bloated.
I did want more of Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier. Okay, this is a good beer. I just finished 17% in.
Yeah, I saw you take the last drink there. Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm in. I'm locked in. I'm fully into it. I'm not so crazy about we saw things like the list that he was checking off, Winter Soldier's list, and you want to check out those names. And we tried to watch other things other than Nerdist. And Anne was like, no.
Well, like I said, 89 Easter eggs.
We're only watching the Nerdist. Exactly. We're only watching Nerdist from now on. We swore off the other ones. We tried to watch other Easter egg videos or, all the spoilers.
I don't even go down that path, man. They're too crazy for me.
It was so funny. When we were watching the Mr. Rogers piece today, I said they pulled back and you saw the number on the mailbox, and it was like 2313. And as the guy steps away and he exposes the number 2313, I said, "Oh, guys, do you know 2313 is a reference to Marvel episode 2314?
Get out, was it?
No, it wasn't at all. But I was just the whole family was like a stupid dad joke over there. You're a walking dad joke with your.
That is a good one, though. You had me. You had me at 23. I thought it was Jordan.
You're like Jordans.
Oh man, unbelievable.
All right, so you have homework. Own the room. You'll be on the edge of your seats, and I look forward to chatting about it. And it's a feel good edge of your seat thing.
I can't wait, man. I'm gonna watch it. We'll watch it this week.
Awesome.
You have no homework. I gave you none, but I'm glad you watched stuff. Odessa.
I did my work.
No, your homework would have been the last Blockbuster.
There you go.
But you watched it, so I guess you did your homework a week early. Oh man, these like ambitious little millennials.
You know it.
Actually, you're a Gen Xer, but
yeah, we're both Gen X. Yeah, you're Gen X.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're Gen X.
Yeah,
I like to pretend like I'm millennial, but I'm totally not.
I think me too. I like to think like AOC, yeah. And then I'm just like, wait a minute, she's like 25 years my junior. What am I talking about?
She's half your age
or whatever. I don't know what she's probably 30 maybe. But all right, Ted. Hey man, episode 154
in the can.
You have a good night. Later.
You too. Bye.
Next week, join Jim and Ted as they disarm another Hollywood bomb or marketing masterpiece. Remember, the holy trinity of podcasting. Subscribe, like, share.
Special thanks to Jeremy Kent Jackson for the voiceover and Rogelio for the music.